Check that stuff out. Raining cats and dogs. No way. Super cool rain. Wally's sunroom is doing during the rain. Dry as a bone. A little bit of water there against the wall. Other than that, dry as a bone. Check that, look at that. Wata, wata, wata. Okay, so I've got my little sweatshop working.
Show all the ones we already did.
And they did all these carrots spacing, eh?
Seed cake.
There's some biltong for the hungry.
And
Cerveza de Sol,
alcohol.
white wine,
Rosé.
and rosé. So, are you mixing those two?
Yes.
She's
and
in
the
the-
kids
in-
are having Shirley Temples.
The kids are learning how to make a Shirley Temple.
I know.
And Lisa's made little alkies out of all of us.
It's not alcohol.
So, Lisa's following permaculture principles by interplanting her alcohol, the Cerveza de Sol and the white wine. So, tell us about the basics.
Okay, so we're doing them in 4 rows across and 5 centimeters. This is just flour and water.
Flour.
Yeah, just
Like
wheat
cake.
flour
Okay.
As
and water. Make
Okay.
a little paste here,
maar deze is een sweetener.
and then you put a seed on each drop.
Met de kaas in. Als je dit mixt, dan zit er ook in.
And I'm going to be 100 years old before I finish all these seeds.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Zie je smoken in de kaas?
Well,
Anyway, so they're 5 centimeters apart.
and then you roll
And
those
then
out.
you're going to cut
Oh, you
them
still have
into
to cut them.
ribbons and lay them on the bed and cover them with, I don't know, half inch of soil, centimeter of soil.
Yeah, a little bit less, like just a sprinkle of soil.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And you can do this with any little seed.
Onions and beets and all sorts of things to make the
So you do
spacing.
your spacing, and we looked at seeders, machines to roll down the beds at the Chinese shop the other day, and they were total pieces of junk, and they were very expensive, like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
So this is a nice little way to.
Keep your wife busy.
We'll see how crooked the roast get as we drink.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's okay. There's 10 seeds on that one.
This is Beatrice's first try make tasting a Shirley Temple.
And is it your first try as well?
No.
Who taught you how to make Shirley Temples?
Aunt Lisa.
Aunt Lisa.
Casaforna.
We
Aha!
had it at
Casaforna.
California the other night.
Oh, at the ladies' night.
Yes.
So these ladies went out for a ladies' night while the boys went out to exercise.
Okay.
To beat each other.
Taste it, let's see. Awesome.
Delicious.
And then Wally's sunroom, I don't know if you can pick it up. It doesn't look so romantic in the camera. But this little solar light has got such a huge effect. Sun setting over there. Plants, we've got planted out so many things. But there's still a couple of fatties over here. And it just gives a wonderful feeling, these roof plates. Just makes it so nice. It's 11 o'clock. I don't know how much of this you can see. We can bend it up towards the light. Crazy rain. Crazy rain. Good morning, you beautiful people. So we had rain last night and not a drop has entered the sunroom. This place with these plants and this little lights at night creates a wonderful romantic atmosphere. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And so last night my wife and I was dancing in there and the kids were sneaking and watching through the kitchen window. Mika is a hopeless romantic. And Aunt Lisa was ridiculing them, saying something like nosy, nosy. Mika made a video which I thought was really cool. It's a good thing when your kids experiencing you loving your spouse instead of fighting with your spouse. And I must say that's obviously more difficult than it sounds. Sometimes you enjoy fighting with your spouse, but it was great not to have that. Anyway, okay, back to permaculture. So we had crazy rain during the night. Should actually get a shovel and dig somewhere and see how deep it is, how dry it is. But we have not lost one single chook. Some people asked, okay, and then the other addition yesterday, we added a metal gate, so no more wooden plank stopping it. We've got a wooden gate, a metal gate that opens, which is grand. The whole bottom is covered with parrot wire. You can see parrot wire all around, which is awesome. And more on the way for our chicken city. I see there's been quite a bit of water running in here, so there is something not right. Hello chickies. Maybe open them up and get some sunlight onto them. I'll organize that quickly. But all in all, a wonderful night. Me here, please. Let's have a look. Make a hole for me. Let's see how deep is it before it's dry. Okay. So that's about it. Like maybe half a finger deep. So that's wonderful.
Bananas the rest of your life.
Okay, so Lisa is talking to Ims about his new fruit trees that she got. He has moved one of the marulas out here. Ims, what happened to the other marula?
Yeah, the other one is.
Okay,
You can't talk
And-
and carry.
and I can't show that on the YouTubes, but they are busy offloading both of those scooters. So that answers the question that many people have: what's going to happen to the kudu? So I negotiated a very, very good price with the owner of that camp, and payment terms. So Ims has got that meat in his shop, and he's got a chance to make some money from it. How do we know whether the meat is still good? So we use the same way that you use when you take something out of the freezer. You just smell it. If you really want to be fancy and you're not 100% sure, you cut to the bone and you smell the bone. So normally big animals, it's like eland, start rotting from the bone outwards. Luckily these animals have got the skin, so the skin does a lot to preserve the meat. Once you open the skin, then bad things start happening. But while it's lying in the skin, it can be there for a couple of hours before anything bad starts to happen. What else? What other questions were there? I think that those were the questions about the meat. The horns we're gonna clean and give to the taxidermy. Lisa's thinking of taking one home with her. I think that's all the questions about the meat. If there's any more questions, just let me know. The meat is such a good price that I actually eventually thought of buying a lot of it for myself. But we do still have that cattle, a lot of that cattle, and then obviously crazy amount of chickens that we still have to eat and sell and so forth. So we decided to give everything to Ims. Instead of selling it to our workers directly, we sold everything to Ims, and we said to them, listen, if you want to buy, go buy from Ims. And Ims got it for such a good price that he can still sell it to them and they can still feel like they bought a bargain. So I think that's a good thing. So I've been here for about half an hour now. This morning we quickly went shopping to buy Maureen some extra things for her house. She went to go and collect her kids from the farm, and so we want to surprise her with some nice things. So I gave Jonita a budget, and Jonita went shopping with Lisa, and sorry, my phone started ringing. But in any case, so Jonita and Lisa went shopping, bought a lot of nice household things. They spoke to Maureen and asked her what she needs. It seems like clothes for the kids, blankets, things to keep them warm. Jonita went into her kitchen and everything that she doesn't need, cutlery and pots and things like that. She's also donating to Maureen. But we haven't finished the house yet. We were running around so much. And it is my own fault 100%. But Lisa has been so good to us and guiding us in how to make our house nice, and I've been neglecting Maureen's project. That sounds bad on camera, but believe me, we were very, very busy. I really tried, and I just couldn't fit everything into it. So we're quickly going to buy the rest of the things. We're buying the rest of the things. The guys are loading more plates. These are now the guys trying to get to the last zincs up there. Corrugated sheets that needs to be cut. They don't have the things in stock that we need, so they need to cut other things that we don't have. Yeah. Then driving out, the day is almost over, so I hope we finish it before the end of the day. Driving out, fixing that, and then handing it over to Maureen. I hope by that time she's still in town. She might already have left for the farm, but we'll see. So we finally are leaving. Let me just pause this thing. It's nice as I can listen to some YouTube videos. This is agroforestry system by Byron Groves while driving. In any case, finally just left Pupkewitz, and 2.5 hours later, no, sorry, an hour and a half later of struggling to get my materials out after they promised that they will have everything ready for me just to pick up. It was a real pain. I feel cheated when somebody steals my time, especially when we've got so much things to do. It's a long weekend going up ahead, and I'm scared that we're not going to be able to finish this before the long weekend stretches. It is a bit of an issue that I would like to avoid. This is a school called Tsara Chaibes. Tsara Chaibes. Now, it's a Damara word. I always drive past these schools and think about all the water capturement. See, this one has even got a flood area running through it. See, this is a river coming from that side, running through the school. Always drive past these things, and you've got a little bit of a permaculture eye. Obviously, we will not be able to do everything that we want to do, but we can slowly but surely start dreaming, and slowly but surely do what we can do. Build a house here, put a tree in here, do things like that until we're ready, and turn this whole place into a permaculture food forest. It would be fantastic if the whole of Otjiwarongo turned into a permaculture food forest. Right, so arriving at Maureen's house. Ims and Enzo. Were you busy, Enzo? Busy. Môre? Morning. Môre Tannie. Lekker. Môre. Okay, so Enzo, show us quickly what's your plan here. You had me buy extra poles. Show me, what is the plan? So you want to add extra supports there?
Yeah, we want to add extra support for the roof. So
Oh, okay. So you can put the one brandering through there.
Through there in the middle.
Okay. Okay. Great. Let's see if that is enough. So while the guys work here behind me and the kids are helping them, let me turn around maybe like this and do some Q&As. I think the kids really liked the last time being in the video. I'm sure they're gonna show up again. And okay, so Lisa said I should prepare better for my questions. She looked at my previous video and she said she's surprised that I didn't do a bit more preparation. So I'm gonna do one of those again without preparing. Hit the filter on my thing that says contains questions, and then I will read those questions and answer them. Okay, so Belarki, hope you can see there. Will citrus survive the freeze? Yes, the citrus does very well when it's cold. I'm not sure whether I can say freezing, but it really does really well in the cold. How do you decide? Wasp asked, how do you decide if the meat is still edible? I explained that a little bit earlier in the video. It's speed race. What are you doing now? You wanna kill me? That's a bad idea.
It's almost there.
Remember, you're close to payday, ne? Don't kill me now.
No, yeah. You can do that.
Who's gonna pay you end of the month? They are trying to cut the thing here on the side in a dodgy way. Okay, Speedray asks, it's almost natural for humans to want to tidy up. We all do it. In a previous episode you were trying to explain to imps, was it? Someone that is fine and part of the ecosystem flow of nutrients for a dead horse to feed an apple tree. The same applies here with a caveat. It is better if the carrion sites are too close to the roads or human settlements in relation to the kudus. In my opinion, if you're not going to eat them, it's important for a succession of mammals, reptiles and especially birds to arrive, take their bit of the carrion, I assume that means carcass, and disperse to the four winds. Nature is more than capable and willing to provide a clean-up crew. That said, if the carcass is too close to the road, then it could be dragged away further from the road and perhaps sighted in relation to a good spot for a hidden camera to catch what turns up. This is just my opinion. So yes, he's right. So if we were not going to use that carcass, obviously it would have been best to leave it to nature to discard off. Somebody asked in relation to the carcasses, biltong in brackets. Biltong is a cured meat that we have. We spice it, let it rest in spice and vinegar for 24 hours, and then we hang it to dry naturally in the wind, and we eat that dry meat, biltong. We didn't make biltong with that kudus, but we eat a lot of biltong, and Lisa said when she went home the last time she was actually craving biltong. She got very used to it. Very similar to the beef jerky you get in America, except we don't use any heat at all. We don't cook it, we don't smoke it, none of that. We just hang it in the wind to dry. Okay, so Fiona Williams says, I had a thought about how auntie could be employed. This is now that auntie. Where's your auntie? Somewhere, yeah? She was asking for a job the first time we came to Manette's house. And hello, are you learning a lot? And Fiona said she could maybe do soap making. She could maybe do soap. Mikon says no heat lamp. So no, heat lamp takes a lot of energy. We were thinking about charcoal, doing charcoal little burners. The previous bunch, it was hot enough at night, so you can just leave them in the tent. Once or twice during the night you come and you shake them up so they don't kill each other by lying on top of each other, because that's the biggest killer of baby chicks, is when they huddle and they go lie on top of one another, and then some of them get hurt or die, they get smothered and they die. And so previously it was hot enough that we can just separate them quickly. This time I know it's very cold, and I know I don't want to get up at night as often. We've had them now in the box 3 nights in a row, and they're split in smaller pieces, so they can't huddle together too much and kill each other. But as they grow bigger, we'll have to find another solution. That will happen quite soon, I guess. We'll see what we'll do then. I can't do the charcoal there in that tent because the whole thing, bedding is filled with straw or grass, and then the tent is flammable. Everything is just like a tinder box. So, you know, we don't want to cook them 6 weeks too early. You have to cook them when they're ready. Or 10 weeks too early. What did you do with the horns? So Lisa really wants to take one home. We're working on it to make sure that Lisa can take a gift home, a pair of kudu horns home. So they're all... Are you struggling with the saw? Okay. Halfway. So they didn't bring all the tools, and they might be faster with the crappy tools that they have here, other than to drive all the way back to the farm to go fetch the proper tools. How did Maureen find you? Moni Egger asked, how did Maureen find me? So, I actually don't know. We had a lady working for us, Shirley. She was very nice and very good. We're just traveling out to the farm and back. It became too much. She had small kids. Very, very nice lady. And then after she left, we found Maureen somehow. And she started working in our house, helping us clean and do all those extra things. While Janita teaches the kids and so forth, she helps with dishes and ironing and things like that. Jeffrey Sachs asked, how much rain fell and was there any accumulation in the swales? So much, 3, 4, 7, 8, 10 mil, maybe, and no accumulation in the swales, unfortunately. Darby Natural asked, do I know the variety of species of amaranth we have? No, unfortunately not. I know they are purple, and I should maybe do some research and see, but they grow wild here. Any space with a lot of water, they grow, and it's an amazing thing. I'm trying to make them more, grow more often on the farm. Did you factor in the El Nino mechanics with the weather expectations? Maybe the unusual rain is due to that. I'm sure El Nino has got something to do about it. Everybody says that. I'm just too dumb to know what. I have no idea how El Nino works. Basic understanding of how it works, but definitely not to such an extent that it can help me change my expectations of what the weather is like. Could you stop using the useless "the one with" video title prefix? This is Avio Pass. See if I can have you. Avio Pass. So I'm a Friends fan, and I like the idea of the one with us building Maureen's house. The one with the kudus fighting to death. The one with, or the one where I answer questions on YouTube. So what I'm doing is, somebody said below a post that I had for voting, they said let the numbers do the talking. So what I'm doing now is I'm posting the one with titles, which I like the most, and then I'm posting other titles, and then I'm A/B testing them against one another. So in this video, it would be cool if you can comment what title did you see. Did you see the one with, or did you see another title? What was the title that you saw? What about the fruit trees? Is that a video still coming? So we have got many fruit trees. I'm not sure which ones he's talking. This is Yes Uru Farming, a cool guy that does permaculture in South Africa. What kind of chickens are these? Balarki asked. That's so we use Cornish cross, not because it's the best breed, it's just the only breed that we can buy as day-old chickens. We hope to be breeding our own in the future. We're just not there yet, either with battery power or with expertise. Hopefully we'll get there where we can brood our own hatchlings soon, and then we don't have to buy them in anymore. But for now we can get the Cornish cross. I like them. We are very lucky. If I read how many Daves people get, we get very little in comparison, and our feed cost is low because they're free ranging. We're maybe changing that up a little bit with the Chicken City. We do not have a lot of Daves, and we do have healthy, well tasting chickens. We really do enjoy the way they taste. Are there XPS foam insulation plates available in Namibia? Yes, we do have different isolation plates available. We can buy. Why is the Damaras always sounding so angry? Huh? Whenever the Damara people talk with their sounds, they always sound so extremely angry when they talk, and then they're just having a normal conversation. Right, I think that is the end of my story. I think I'm gonna help the guys here quickly push this thing as far as we can. I organize with them to come back tomorrow if we can't finish it today. I know we're not gonna finish it today. The day is just simply going too fast. It's already 4:10, and I still have to. The ladies' taxi dropped them, so Imps became the taxi, and now I'm having him work here, so I have to be the taxi tonight. But in any case, have a wonderful day and go ahead and please cultivate with kindness.